Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today on conversational AI tools. It is quite rainy outside in Halifax today, so seems like a perfect day to be indoors and do some learning. My name is Lena Roy. I'm a business development advisor with Tourism Nova Scotia. Today's webinar is a collaboration between Tourism Nova Scotia and Digital Nova Scotia. As a division of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage, Tourism Nova Scotia works to grow Nova Scotia's tourism industry and maximize the value of tourism to Nova Scotia's economy through marketing, experience, sector development, and visitor servicing. Digital Nova Scotia is the industry association for Nova Scotia's 2.5 billion ICT and digital technology sector, representing over 380 members, including startup, SMEs, multinational corporation, government, post-secondary institution, and more. So we do have a few housekeeping items today. If you have attended one of our webinars, you do know how we do things here. As always, we encourage you to ask your questions throughout the webinar by putting your questions in the chat box. There will be a few minutes at the end of the presentation to answer all the Q&A, but we would love to keep the whole workshop quite interactive. So our presenters will be answering your questions throughout the workshop as well. This webinar will be recorded, so if you do want to rewatch it later, it will be available to you. And also, you will receive an email after the webinar from me with the presentation and any other relevant information that is shared during the webinar today. Closed captioning is enabled. So if you want to change that, you can do so by going to your settings and turning off live transcription. Okay, so this webinar today is brought to you by Digiport. And Digiport is a website where you can go and access all sorts of learning materials, tip sheets, videos on how to grow your online presence. And the best part is you can also book completely free one-on-one consultation sessions with experts who are listed on the website. So for an example, if you really like the presentation today by John and Colin, they are listed on Digiport. You can go in, book a free consultation session with them, and just check out how can you implement AI in your business to save some time and money. We're so excited today to introduce to you our presenters, Colin and John. They are the co-founders of Trailblaze AI. If you have been to any of our Digital Days events, or if you have attended any of the webinars, they may be familiar face to you. They champion the integration of AI in Atlantic Canada's business landscape. With a shared vision, they empower small businesses to harness AI's potential, driving operational efficiency and transformative job growth. Their commitment is to educate enterprises to pave the future of smart business in the region. Now, without giving away too much about the presentation, they did a little tech check for us, and it seems like they've built something extremely cool for you so you can learn today. John and Colleen, please share your screen and take it away. Looking forward to the presentation.
Lena, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. We're really excited to get started and show you folks some really, really neat tools that are out there, not just our own, that you can start engaging with. I'm just getting our screen up now. I just want to confirm with everybody that you can see my presentation window.
Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome. Great. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Trailblaze is really, really happy to present to you this webinar on conversational AI tools, talking about unlocking the power and the future of customer communications, and we're really, really excited. So some of the things that we're going to be looking at today We're going to do a really quick rundown for those of you who are not aware. We'll do a quick introduction of who we are. We're going to touch back on some of the things that we've done and that we've talked about in the past through Digiport, Tourism Nova Scotia, and Digital Nova Scotia with respect to artificial intelligence. We'd like to educate you all on the basics of how conversational AI works and really kind of what it is, because it's a lot different than just ChatGPT. We're going to be talking about how it's different from some of perhaps the more classical chatbots that you may be already familiar with or you may already use. And the big takeaways that we want for you folks is we want to explain to you and help illuminate some of the big ways that conversational AI is going to be changing the game, not just within the tourism space, but within customer communications as a whole. We're going to be leading you down the garden path to some of the conversational AI tools that you can take away and start using today. And we're going to be doing a couple of demos of our own technology and be opening that portion up to the chat so you all can help us interact with our digital concierge AI, who we have lovingly named Lila. And then, of course, as Lena's mentioned, we will have some time at the end for Q&A. So without further ado, let's get started. We really, really, really cannot wait to start presenting this to you. My name is Colin Alexander. I started in business in Nova Scotia with my company, Conduit Voice Media. And what we do is we focus on providing digital and audio support for small businesses, helping them get their message out to the right people and the right places using the power of audio and video. And I have partnered up with my main man here, John. John, take it away. Introduce yourself, please.
Thanks so much, Colin. So me and Colin both actually started our businesses the same time in 2020, right before COVID hit us. So since then, we've kind of been together, amalgamating ideas, and eventually we came up with Trailblaze. But when we're looking at our past and what we've done in both our businesses, we're geared towards helping our clients gain more traction, build more awareness, build their brands, get more leads. And we've been doing that for years. And over the last couple of years, I've helped my own clients generate over $20 million in extra revenue based on our campaigns. And while that's all well and good, we also see opportunities. We've seen gaps where just the campaigns we run don't necessarily fill the whole bucket. So we realized over the years that we need ways to get in touch with everyone that's getting to the website, communicating with you through other channels. We're missing a lot of opportunities. So me and Colin know we both have to create an avenue where we can help our clients achieve even more success. Because ultimately what that means is they're going to be hiring more people. They're going to be a figurehead in our local economy. Such an important factor. So we've designed this program to what we believe is going to fill that gap. And we're really excited to show you that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, as Lena mentioned, we have done a few presentations in the past for Digital Nova Scotia and Tourism Nova Scotia. I don't know if anyone's seen them or been part of it, but I do have a question for everyone. When we did our first presentation here in September 28th, it was 2023, and Chat was still brand new. Most people didn't even know about AI. In fact, we had about, I think, 130 people there calling on that webinar that we did. And only about 20% of people that were there actually knew what AI was or even started to use ChatGPT. So I'm curious today, just throw me a 1 in the chat box if you have used AI, currently use AI for personal, for business, any kind of AI. Let us know.
See a couple of ones coming in. So
Perfect.
we've increased, John, from 20% to almost 100.
So I think that's what's so cool is when we had that conversation back in the day, we said, imagine where AI is going to be from a year from now, right? And now we're here a year from now, showing you what AI is capable of doing. So again, maybe a year from now, we're doing something even crazier than what we're about to show you today. So that's what's really exciting.
It is really exciting, and it's really cool to see how the technology has changed and how rapidly it's changed as well. I think one of the things that we said is the ways that we're engaging with AI and things like ChatGPT as of last year are going to change dramatically, and they already have. So, without further ado, let's, John, why don't you sort of break down for us what conversational AI really is and how it works?
Absolutely. So we don't want to overcomplicate this because realistically, a lot of it isn't that complicated in terms of how it works. But if you're familiar with using ChatGPT, many of you maybe have already started creating your own My GPTs in chat, which basically allows you to create your own kind of custom AI. That allows you to upload things like documents and information, right? We've seen companies use these for, say, HR, right? Where they could upload all their HR policies and that way they can send it out to their employees. So if employees ever had questions maybe about vacation days or anything related to HR, they can go there, ask questions, and get the answers, right? So this works in a lot of the same ways where we're able to provide this system a lot of data and information. So we can basically look at the input processing, which is basically what the interface is. It's very similar to chat. We're creating prompts and information to give it an idea of what it needs to do, how it needs to interact based on how your business works. And we're filling it with all of those steps and processes to ensure that the communication that this is going to have with your customer is on level with yourself or maybe even better. And that's what we're really trying to achieve with it. So there's a lot of things that work together, but basically we're using the framework of ChatGPT and other large language models to connect together, to work together in a way that goes beyond maybe just creating social media posts or responding to an email like we used to do, or we still do.
Which yes, we certainly do still do, but the power of this converts it into more of a live or an active communication, which is something that we've found more and more of our clients and more of their customers are really asking for. And it's neat. The way that works, as John had mentioned, using the ChatGPT framework here, we are essentially creating a list of rules. Um, Much different than a classical chatbot where those would be set up as like different responses and logic maps. These can interact a lot more dynamically because of their ability to recognize the intent behind the questions, even if the question is poorly worded or even misspelled. So how it's different from the classical chatbots that we've encountered in the past. Like I had just mentioned, the classic chatbot operates on a rule-based script. They're all predefined, and there are logic pathways in which we're leading people and users down. Conversational AI is using these language models to understand context and intent, and is able to understand nuance in the language, and without having a very rigidly defined logic base, can still get us very effectively and in a very human way to the answers that our customers are seeking. Now, the thing with classical chatbots is they were very rigid. Pre-programmed responses, they don't always work if the input that the chatbot is receiving is unexpected or doesn't follow the pre-programmed rules. Whereas the conversational AI kind of ignores all of that. And as we had mentioned before, it generates a much more dynamic and human-like response. And we'll see this a little bit later today. There are points, and I've caught myself doing this, where I am referring to our AI assistant as her or as he, depending upon the persona that we've built for them, because of their ability to communicate so fluidly and dynamically with us. Now, this is one of the things that is very new for conversational AI. Classic chatbots needed to be programmed in whatever language they were designed in. If you offered a French service as well, you would need another chatbot to handle that language. And one of the things that we're exploring more and more today is how conversational AI is able to handle multiple languages in both text and voice, which we think from the perspective of tourism, if we have people who are traveling internationally and they are able to communicate with our AI and with our assistant in their own language, in their own native tongue, how much more comfortable and enriched that experience is for them.
Yeah, so awesome points, Colin. And again, we're really excited to show that off. But the real objective with conversational AI is we're trying to close the gap on the opportunities that we're missing. And we find, like I said, even though in our world we're creating lots of business opportunities for our clients, we see those gaps. So this is what we're diving into. This is what's going to change in 2025, and this is what's going to change the game for tourism businesses and businesses alike. So the first thing we want to look at, and again, Colin did mention this in the language, but the ability to be able to communicate and book 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, such a critical component. So let's look at some numbers, okay? 37% of customers indicate that the 24/7 access is a top feature that they see with these types of assistants. It provides them the freedom that they can communicate whenever, right? It helps them make decisions much easier because they're going to get those responses right away rather than waiting. And waiting, what in terms of what we've seen, the wait is what normally kills the communication and the lead up to that person coming into a business. So we want to trust that and make sure that we're getting those individuals, we're getting that information to them as quick as possible. 40,000 overseas visitors visited Nova Scotia this year in 2024. Substantial, right? And again, we're talking about people in Europe, Australia, all around the world. And you have to imagine all the different time zones that we're looking at when we're talking about these different individuals, right? So you might be closed, but it might be morning somewhere else, right? Or someone's actively engaged after work, but you're not open. So if that's the case, they're not able to communicate with someone because there's no options for them to, right? All our businesses are normal, right? We've been normal in the sense that when we're closed, there's no one responding because we don't have anyone that can be there at midnight. We don't have maybe people there that can be on the weekend or holidays. So we're missing those opportunities. So here it allows us to communicate to anyone at any time, break down those barriers, and allow for those opportunities to start increasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you have anything to add there, John?
Oh no, that's it. That's it.
Great. Awesome. And to kind of further along with that point is the way in which conversational AI is able to handle inquiries. And the whole idea here is this enhancement of customer engagement, having our questions answered quickly, having them answered responsibly and correctly, and also having them responded to consistently. Now, I don't know about you folks. I have spent a lot of time in the hospitality industry working in restaurants and even a couple of hotels. And I can tell you from my own experience, I have taken bad phone calls. I am guilty of it. I am guilty of having an off day and not providing the service that that perhaps I'm capable of. Now, what we're talking about here is whereas so many customers, 77% that we have here on this slide, are leaning more and more towards web-based communications. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create, as John said, these avenues of communication that are more in line with what our customers want and are also really, really consistent in the way in which they handle the customers, their questions, and the information that's being given. And what we found, and this was really interesting because this was a surprise to me, that over half of customers polled were more than likely to return to a website that offered live chat because of that real-time access to the business. Now, folks, maybe you are out there and you do have staff members who are taking care of your phone lines or taking care of communications overnight. That is absolutely not out of the realm of possibility in your industry. Now, what I'd like to sort of put forth here is imagine if that person had a helper, and while they were trying to help guests who were having issues or had requests late night, that our communication lines were still open and that people weren't being put on hold. That's the kind of thing that we're trying to drive at here. And that moves us to kind of the next point, which is this team productivity piece. My friends, I am not going to sit here and act as one of these boosters of AI and say, fire your frontline staff, lower all of your costs, and start replacing them with these conversational AI assistants. I don't believe that that's the right way for any business. Now, it is entirely up to you how you, as the business owner, approach AI and include it into your business 100%. But let's think about some of the things that can change if we have some of that extra help on the communications front line. We can be directing our human resource to more strategic roles or more strategic tasks. Or, and this is the thing that I like to do, use these as opportunities to help further develop my staff. I try very, very hard within my video business to free my staff from things like denoising footage or cleaning up messy audio, when what I really want them doing is spending most of their time creating really, really strong narratives for my clients. So if I have an AI tool, which I do, that can help them do that job more productively, then their output, and I've seen this, just gets better and better and better, which in turn affects my clients. So what we're trying to really kind of do here with this technology is increase job satisfaction, not replace people, but enhance their abilities to work in the roles that they've chosen. And John, why don't you get us started on some of the tools that are out there that these folks can start engaging with right away?
Sure, absolutely. So we've used these tools during our kind of path to, get our feet wet in this space because again, things are changing all the time. There's going to be other platforms out there, but we don't have enough time in the day to possibly go through everything and test them out. So we wanted to get some options that we think are able and capable of anyone just jumping in and at least trying it out. So the first one that I want to talk about is closebot.ai. And why is this great? Well, it's free to try. So there's no real risk or financial obligations that are involved in this. So you can literally go in there this afternoon and start playing around with it and start building it out. Now, biggest drawback is that you're only looking at physical text chat. You're not going to be able to utilize voice AI, like which we're going to be showing you a little bit soon. So we want to make sure that you understand that this is giving you an option. It's not the full option, but you can go in. The usability of it is a little bit easier. So it's not super difficult to put together. And they do have some good instructions about how you get the process started in terms of what information you need to provide for it to work, right? Go high level. Now, this is a CRM that me and Colin both use for our agencies. We build out CRMs for our clients as well, which basically helps with the customer management, right? And automations and workflows and making sure that we don't lose anything in the cracks in terms of communication, right? The good thing about what we're going to show you today is it works hand in hand with these softwares like Go High Level, where we can capture all the information that we talk about. We can build up the information about our potential customers and clients. That way we have data, we have touch points that we can communicate with them with, which is just as important as the initial conversation sometimes to get them into your wheelhouse, basically, right? The biggest drawback, it starts at $100 US a month, so it's not always going to be accessible to everyone. And there is a steep learning curve. So get used to watching a lot of videos and a lot of tears, I think, Colin, if you might.
Yeah, I have a couple of gray hairs, and I will say this, YouTube is your best friend.
Yeah, and like both of these options are do it yourself, right? So again, CloseBot, a little bit easier to try and it's free. So if you want to test it out, go for it, jump in, go high level. Again, there's a cost, bigger learning curve, but it is pretty powerful in terms of what it can offer. It's really a Swiss Army knife as a marketing tool where it has a lot of components to it to, for in the customer relationship management side of things.
Yeah, it's very robust, and certainly one of the things that we have found, whereas it does offer both conversational voice and conversational text AI, it's pretty good. We've found that it was a little bit lacking when trying to deal with some of the more nuanced issues that some of our clients have, which is kind of what led us to develop Trailblaze. And really the whole idea behind Trailblaze was how how can we create a system that helps us communicate better. It doesn't take us out of the communication. It doesn't take us out of the customer relationship building, but it sure as heck helps us. I think I saw in the chats earlier that somebody had started using ChatGPT, and there's a whole cadre of things that they will never do again, which I really, really appreciate. Kind of carrying on with that idea is really what we're trying to build here within the communication space. And the thing that's most important to us is, yes, can our customers communicate with us regularly at all times of day and get consistent information? Absolutely. But we want them to feel good after the communication. We want them to come away from that communication feeling like, wow, that business with that conversational AI really, really, really helped me out. And my friends, I will say this. John and I are both pretty firm about being transparent when we have AI on a website and letting customers know that they're speaking to an AI. We've found that not only does that break down the barrier of discomfort, but it also invites people to try something that's kind of new and kind of exciting. And the responses, at least so far, have been really positive. It's been really great.
Yeah, and
So,
just one thing they're calling.
sure.
Also, the acceptability of talking with AI now is increasing every day. So
Hmm.
it's becoming the norm, right? Again, we talked about a year ago, 20% of people had any kind of real awareness of what AI is. Now, almost everyone has an idea of what AI is. So being able to communicate with AI, sometimes it breaks down that barrier. Sometimes people feel uncomfortable talking with humans. And that's why a lot of people use text chats instead of actual phone calls, especially the younger generation. You can imagine how many more are more apt to text and chat that way versus communicating on the phone. That's only going to be increasing. So the acceptability rates has been skyrocketing. And how it works, well, again, we kind of mentioned the power of utilizing things like ChatGPT, and that's what we do. We use ChatGPT as a model, and essentially we're creating a knowledge base, right? We're giving all this information about this business that we're going to show you that isn't real here in a few minutes. All the information it needs to reflect on the communication, right? So we have to put the details in to make sure that it understands your business, right? And then we give it a prompt, which is essentially giving it some style guidelines, guardrails in case maybe things go off the rails in terms of the communication or what someone might be asking. We always want to bring it back to what we're trying to do, which is solve the problems for the customer, answer any questions that might be coming out. And ultimately, we want to try to see, hey, do you want to come check us out? Do you want to come book? Do you want to buy our product? Right? We want to introduce that because, again, it's communication and sales. We want to see if that can marry up because we want to capture these opportunities for your business. So again, we can start looking at increasing your revenues throughout the tourism season, right? So that's
Yeah,
really all coming together and working in that sense.
yeah, that's it. And John, you had mentioned before, and I think it's really worthy to bring up now before we move on from this slide. Thinking about this, for those of you who may be familiar with it, more like a My GPT. So we're using the model of OpenAI's ChatGPT 4, but it's a closed system, and it only reacts in the way that we tell it to, which on one hand is really great because we can customize it and tailor it to any organization, to any business to really do an excellent job of promoting and representing that brand. But on the other hand, it's a closed system. So none of that information is shared outside of the closed system. I think without further ado, John, we can get started with demos. Are you guys ready to see this in action?
Yeah, so let's get going.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So this is just going to take me 1 second here. I'm going to have to flip off my window here and get us over to.
And one thing I wanted to mention, Colin, is what we're going to show you today. We will send this link out once we're done. So you can go there yourselves and try this out. We just don't want to do it yet because it might interfere with voice if there's a bunch of things going on. So just have some patience with us. After everything's done here, we will send you the link so you can go and try this out yourselves.
Great. Now, I'm not getting the options to share sound anymore, folks. I'm not sure what happened there. Just give me 1 second to try and track that down.
I don't see that either.
Yeah, it no longer is giving us the option. Now, I'm just going to test this very, very quickly and see whether or not you folks can hear this.
No.
So that's not coming through then. Lena, I'm wondering, are you able to provide me with full host ability here? I'm wondering if that might be our issue. I do apologize, folks. We did test this in the tech check this morning and it was working. So just one moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are you there, Lena?
Yeah, sorry, my computer was hung.
Yeah, it's removed our share sound option, which is really, really critical.
I know, I'm trying to see what is going on.
Problem, no problem. And I mean, at the very, very worst, we did record some videos of our demo yesterday, so we can.
Can you try again? I just like reset the share option.
No, I have no options for sharing sound.
Okay, sorry, just gonna see what
Oh,
happens.
they flashed for a quick second.
Oh, did it? Okay, one sec. I know what happened there.
Okay, no problem. Thanks so much for your patience, my friends. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, can you?
We could share sound once more. Lena, thank you so much, my
Hey,
friend.
here we go. Perfect.
All right. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm hoping that you can all see the webpage. Yes? What
Yeah.
Great, awesome. What John and I did was we created a completely fake business called Lobster Lodgings, which is an accommodation located in Snares Crossing in the South Shore. And so what we've done here is we've come up with a couple of scenarios to try and to work through with our digital concierge. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to also open up to the chat. If there are any questions that you want us to ask or that you want to try during this conversation, please drop them in the chat. We'll try to get through them. What I'm about to do is completely unscripted, so we're really kind of putting ourselves out there, and would just love to show you how this works. And it's really, really neat. So without further ado, let's have a quick chat with Lila.
Hello, I'm Lila, your guide at Lobster Lodgings. To get started, may I have your name and contact details?
Hi, Lila. My name is Paul McCartney. I'd rather not give contact details for you right now. I just have some questions.
Of course, Paul. I'm happy to help with your questions. What can I assist you with today?
Well, I'm planning a bit of a getaway for my wife and I just wanted to know before booking anything, is your accommodation pet friendly?
That sounds like a lovely getaway, Paul. Yes, our accommodations are pet friendly, so you're welcome to bring along your furry companion. We just ask that you let us know in advance so we can ensure everything is set up for a comfortable stay for everyone. Would you like more details about our pet friendly amenities?
Yeah, what are the general costs for just having a pet around? I'm sure there's an additional cleaning fee.
Great question, Paul. Yes, there is a small additional cleaning fee for bringing a pet, which is $25 per stay. This helps us maintain the cottages in top condition for all our guests. Beyond that, there are no extra charges. We also provide pet friendly touches like water bowls and easy access to outdoor spaces. Does that sound good for your plans?
That sounds great. I do have a few more questions here. It's been a while since my wife has been home. She's from the Chester area. And I'd just like to know, as we are going to be traveling through the winter months and we'd like to do some winter hiking, are there any trails that would be available to us during, say, February?
That's wonderful, Paul. Chester and the surrounding area are beautiful even in the winter months. For winter hiking, you'll find several trails that remain accessible and offer stunning views. A couple of great options include 1. Castle Rock Trail, located near East River. This trail offers a moderate hike with rewarding views of the surrounding forest and coastline. It's a favorite year round. 2. Spottigan Ridge Trail. This is a scenic and relatively easy trail, perfect for a winter stroll. It's well maintained and offers a peaceful experience through wooded areas. Both are within a short drive from Chester and are ideal for winter exploration. Would you like me to provide more details or help plan your hiking itinerary?
No, I think that's fine for now, Lila. Thank you very much. I do have some questions. I've heard that there is a Nova Scotia lobster crawl happening in the South Shore. Could you give me some details on that?
Absolutely, Paul. The Nova Scotia Lobster Crawl is a fantastic event that takes place every February along the South Shore, including Chester. It's a month long celebration of all things lobster, featuring delicious culinary experiences, live music, and fun activities. Highlights include lobster infused menus at local restaurants, showcasing creative and classic dishes, lobster roll competitions where chefs compete for the title of the best lobster roll, lobster themed events like trap hauling demonstrations and even a lobster chowder cook off, and of course the quirky lobster plunge where brave souls take a dip in the icy Atlantic. It's a unique way to experience the local culture and indulge in some of the freshest seafood Nova Scotia has to offer. Would you like me to help you plan around this event or recommend specific activities?
No, I think that's fine. However, I am deathly allergic to shellfish. My wife loves it. Is there a pharmacy anywhere close where I might be able to pack an EpiPen?
That's an important consideration, Paul, and I'm glad you mentioned it. While we don't provide EpiPens directly, there are pharmacies in Chester where you can purchase or refill one if needed. Chester PharmaSave, for example, is centrally located and well stocked. It's always a good idea to have one on hand, especially with your wife enjoying shellfish during the lobster crawl. If you'd like, I can also recommend restaurants with non shellfish options to ensure you have a safe and enjoyable dining experience. Would that be helpful?
No, I think that's fine for now, Lila. I'm getting really, really close to booking here. Everything that you're telling me sounds really, really good. What I'd like to do, it's our anniversary weekend, and I'd like to try and arrange for a bouquet of white roses and a bottle of wine for our check-in. Would that be possible?
That sounds like a beautiful way to celebrate your anniversary, Paul. We can absolutely arrange for a bouquet of white roses and a bottle of wine to be waiting in your cottage upon check in. Do you have a preference for the type of wine, red, white, or sparkling? And would you like me to provide any additional touches, like a personalized note or chocolates?
Ooh, chocolate sounds like a great idea. Thanks for that. And yes, my wife really prefers Cabernet Sauvignon.
Perfect choice, Paul. A bouquet of white roses, a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon, and some chocolates will make for a truly special welcome. I'll make sure everything is arranged beautifully for your arrival. When you're ready to book, I'll just need your contact details and the dates of your stay to finalize everything. Let me know how you'd like to proceed.
Great. Okay, well, we'd be looking at the dates of February 13th, check-in, and checking out on February 17th. And I'm sorry, you needed contact details as well?
Yes, that's correct, Paul. To finalize your booking, I'll need your contact details, including your full name, email address, phone number, and your full address with postal code. Once I have that, I can confirm your reservation and the special anniversary arrangements. Let me know when you're ready.
Great. Okay, so the telephone number is 902-555-5555, and the email address is the Rolling Stones suck at gmail.com.
Thank you, Paul. I've noted your phone number and email address. Could you also provide your full address, including the postal code, to complete the booking?
Oh, certainly. I own all of Essex in England, and that is where I live. Postal code is GB11568.
Thank you, Paul. I've got all the details I need. Let me confirm. You're booking a stay from February 13th to February 17th with a bouquet of white roses, a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon, and chocolates arranged for your anniversary celebration. I'll send a confirmation to your email shortly. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, Lila, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for your help today. And could you do me a favor and say hello to everybody who's joining me today?
Of course, Paul. Hello to everyone joining Paul today. Sounds like you're in great company. Wishing you all a fantastic day ahead. And Paul, thank you for letting me assist with your special plans. Have a wonderful anniversary getaway.
Thanks, Lila. You take care now. All right. So before John gets kicked off, any questions, any comments? I'd really like to see your folks' feedback on that. Hired. Cindy. That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, Stephanie, I did notice actually your comment there about Lila being mostly accurate about the lobster crawl, and these are great things to note because these are the kinds of pieces of her communication that we can round out in the knowledge bases that we were talking about before to make sure that her information is bang on. So without further ado, John, would you like to start your share and go through your scenario?
Absolutely. One thing to touch on there is we didn't have any of that information in our knowledge base. Lila was able to scrape the internet and pull that information. So that is one of the other powerful tools and abilities of what we're able to do is the fact that it can scrape the internet for things that maybe isn't part of our knowledge base, right? But by knowing this data and information in the future, when we're developing this information in our knowledge base even more, we can include these things that maybe we've missed out on so we have it accurate as possible, right? So I just wanted to mention that before we jump in. Now, I'm going to go through this relatively quickly so we have times for any questions and things after. Again, we've seen what this is capable of doing. This isn't going to be a whole lot different in terms of its capabilities. We're just showing you some different scenarios so it's able to do the things that we need it to do. So let's start.
You might just have to give it a quick refresh.
There we go. We see that?
Hello, I'm Lila, your guide at Lobster Lodgings. To get started, may I have your name and contact details?
Hi, Lila. My name is Clark Kent, and my email is supermansdead@gmail.com.
Thank you, Clark. Could you also provide your phone number so I can assist you further?
Sure, it's 902-222-4466.
Thanks, Clark. How can I assist you today? Are you looking to book a cottage, explore local activities, or something else?
Well, I'm looking to see what my options are with you. We're actually a family of four coming from Ontario, and we're trying to stay for about a week. So we want to see what's available.
Got it, Clark. A family of four staying for about a week sounds like a wonderful getaway. Could you share your preferred dates for the stay? This will help me check availability for you.
Absolutely. So we're looking to come in about 2 weeks, and we'd likely be arriving on a Monday.
Perfect, Clark. That would mean you're looking at arriving on Monday, December 16th and staying for a week until Monday, December 23rd. Does that sound right?
Yes, that is right.
Great. Let me check availability for a family of four during that week. While I do that, could you also provide your full address and postal code for the booking?
Sure, I'm not really quite ready to book just yet. I want to get some more information. Can you tell me a little bit about the cottages? Are they kid friendly?
Of course, Clark. Our cottages are absolutely kid-friendly and perfect for families. Each cottage is fully equipped with cozy bedrooms, a kitchen, and a living area. Many of them also have outdoor spaces where kids can play safely. We also have family-friendly amenities like a playground and nearby activities such as kayaking, hiking trails, and beaches that kids love. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about the cottages or activities?
Yeah, sure. How far away is the beach from the cottage?
Great question, Clark. The beach is just a short walk from our cottages, about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on which cottage you choose. It's super convenient for families, and the kids will love how close it is for beach fun. Would you like me to recommend a specific cottage with the best access to the beach?
No, that's okay. I want to get some more questions before we make a decision. Listen, our whole family is gluten free. Are there any restaurants nearby that are gluten free that might be able to accommodate us?
Absolutely, Clark. There are several restaurants within a short drive of our cottages that cater to gluten free diets. A couple of standout options include 1. The Biscuit Eater Cafe and Books in Mahone Bay, about 15 minutes away. They offer gluten free baked goods and meals in a cozy, family friendly setting. 2. Rebecca's Restaurant in Chester, around 20 minutes away. Known for accommodating dietary restrictions, including gluten free options. Would you like me to provide more details or help you plan dining options during your stay?
No, that's okay. I do have some more questions though. So listen, my children have really bad allergies. So we always want to be aware of any hospitals, pharmacies, or clinics nearby in case of emergencies. Is there anything close?
Absolutely, Clark. I completely understand the importance of being prepared. Rest assured, there are medical facilities nearby. 1. South Shore Regional Hospital in Bridgewater. About 30 minutes away, it's a full service hospital for any emergencies. 2. Chester Family Practice in Chester. Around 20 minutes away, it's great for non urgent care. 3. Several pharmacies, including a Guardian Pharmacy in Mahone Bay, just 15 minutes from the cottages. You'll have access to care if needed. Let me know if you'd like me to provide directions or contact details for any of these.
No, that all sounds great. So listen, we're staying for a week. Can you give me a rough estimate of what we'd be looking at in terms of a cost?
Certainly, Clark. For a family of 4 staying for a week, our cottages typically range from $1,200 to $1,800 CAD for the entire stay, depending on the size of the cottage and its proximity to the beach. This includes all standard amenities like Wi Fi, parking, and access to family friendly facilities. Would you like me to narrow down options based on your preferences or provide more details about what's included?
Sure. Could you maybe email me all this information so me and my wife can review it a little bit later?
Of course, Clark. I'll put together all the details about our cottages, nearby amenities and activities, along with pricing estimates, and email it to you at supermansdad@gmail.com. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to include.
No, I think that's everything, Lila. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Clark. And just a quick note, it's Lila, but close enough. I'll send that email shortly. If you have any more questions or need assistance later, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
It's good to know that Lila will stand up for herself.
Oh my. Let me end this.
No problem. I'm just going to be jumping back over to our.
And listen, we when we develop this, we hear and see and learn things every day as we're doing this that always either make us laugh or again pique our interest on things we didn't think it could do or it provides us. So it's always a box of chocolates sometimes.
Yeah, and it's part of the fun actually through the testing of it. And as answering one of Nikki's questions in the chat earlier, um, Lila had recommended to me a trail in Kentucky the other day when we were doing the testing. And it's really, really important for us, especially when it comes to the piece of scraping information, because as we all know, not every business updates their website. So the information that we're pulling from the internet as a whole, we can't always verify. And so that is part of the reason why we do such extensive testing on the back end. And any of that information that we find to be inaccurate, we simply include into the knowledge base to make sure that she gets it right every time.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that again, this is a fake business and the amount of data and information that we provided is going to be limited versus what a real business should be implementing, right? So again, there's always going to be some nuances, and these are things that we have to develop and expand. And this is why we test and do these things as well. It's why it's not just always going to be a quick and easy process to have these things ready to go. Again, testing it out, that's closed. Maybe we have to make note in our database to say, listen, that's off the list, right? So we're always having to do this to make sure that we're refining it. So at the end of the day, it's going to provide as much accurate information as we can. And that could be dealing with things in the prompt too, or just making sure it's not referencing certain things that we don't want it to reference, right? So again, you have to look at your own business and kind of take in those factors in how you're creating it, implementing it, and developing it further out. right? But these are things that we would look at in ours and say, okay, well, for biscuit eaters closed, let's get that off the list that we have, right?
Jennifer, I'm interested. When you say that it missed the sea shanty in Chester Basin, what exactly is it that you mean that it missed it?
It's gluten-free friendly.
Oh, I see. Ah, got you. Okay, I'm just gonna make a note of that. Um, One of the things that I have noticed with the recommendations piece is if we leave her free to make the recommendations without providing any strong guidance, she will not pick based upon any preference. She'll pick simply based upon the information. But we can order that. Like, say for example, Jennifer, you run a business and you have an affiliation or a partnership with the seaside shanty. Oh my God, I'm so
Say it
sorry.
5 times quick, Colin.
No, I will never do it again. Um, in that particular case, what we would do is we would put a guardrail in there to make sure that that recommendation is made. Or if it's a kind of thing that you have a partnership, it's like, hey, you book a stay with us, you get a discount at Seaside, then that information would be given.
I just want to
Steph,
make one note there, Colin.
yep,
Sorry, I just want to make one note. So I just Googled the Seaside Shanty in Chester, and it says it's temporary closed on Google. So there's
that
a
might be why.
there's a good possibility, because if this wasn't on our database list and it was doing a search, it would say, see that it's temporary closed. So some of these businesses don't necessarily have that up listed. So it might include it. It might be closed, but it doesn't have it listed. It probably didn't mention it
Yeah,
because this is listed as temporary closed and it's referencing the fact that it's not open. So if it is open, they might want to change that on Google, because that's probably not good for business.
yeah.
But I'm not sure situation 100%.
And I want to swing back. Great point, John. I want to swing back. I think it was Stephanie who had asked the question, how do we deal with it, or how does she deal with it when inaccurate information is given to a customer? That's a really easy answer. We deal with it and she deals with it in the exact same way that it happens when one of your staff does it. We apologize and we correct. Um, Now, and the reality is what happens, and this kind of goes back to one of our previous points, is removing the human element is just not what we're promoting with technology like this. Yes, Lila can perform all the tasks, but we still need, and in the same way that we do with ChatGPT, we can ask Chat to do a million things for us. But if we don't have the knowledge behind the tasks that we're asking it to do, it becomes very hard to verify and review the information that it gives us. And so it becomes really, really important to make sure that when we are doing these builds and that we are developing these bots, that there are mechanisms in place within the business that, yeah, somebody's looking at this information, somebody's confirming this information. I'm sure most of you who would be in the hotel or the accommodation space probably have a booking manager. Lila is not going to replace that person. And ideally, at the end of the day, we can build out Lila to call clients back and say, whoa, really sorry. We gave you a piece of incorrect information. I quoted you $75 for the flowers and chocolate. I'm really sorry, Paul. They're going to be 125. I'm sorry I got that wrong. So we can create, in the same way that we train a customer service person to deal with those kinds of issues, we can create the same kind of protocols for our AI assistant so they can respond and react in very much the same way.
Yeah, and Stephanie, you made a really good point. Like, you're going to have members as part of this that you want to recommend. And again, we went by our database that we created in the knowledge base of information based on what we could collect, right? So if we want to narrow that down, or we want to put something like, you have to mention this first if we're talking about a restaurant, or a specific type of
Hmm.
business. Maybe you want to go buy trinkets or things related to the area, you want to go here. You can make this as customizable as possible. right? And if we don't have anything in the database, it's going to do a search and try to find something that is most relevant based on the information that's provided.
Yeah, that's right. And it's great because I mean, honestly, we would love to talk to each and every one of you. I know Digiport offers a free service where you can have a consult with John or I mean, really John and I. If you do have any questions about this, or maybe you're playing around with CloseBot a little bit later this afternoon or next week, and you just have some questions, we would love, love, love to have a further conversation with you and even try and help you out. It's not about selling Lila or that particular service, but we appreciate that this technology is really, really new. And although it's not perfect, John and I are trying really, really hard to stay in front of it because really what we want to do is we know, John and I both know, being born and brewed in Nova Scotia, that tourism is such a cornerstone of our economy. And it's really our goal to help enrich their experiences and enrich their stays. And we want to make sure that when people are coming to Nova Scotia and they're dealing with an AI, that they're dealing with an AI who acts like a Nova Scotian, who has that personal touch and understanding that our brand is hospitality. We can't have a robot provide hospitality, but we can provide an enriched communications experience that leads a customer to a stay with us in our beautiful province. And I mean, I think that's really kind of it from my side. John, did you have anything else to add? I think we got 1 minute left.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely perfect. Again, we're trying to find opportunities for tourism businesses where we're going to help attract more visitors to this province and again, enrich their experience to want to book here, right? So we have to collectively think of these things. How do we employ that? How do we put that in place from at least from our side? But there's a multitude of levels across the board where that needs to be implemented so we can enrich those experiences. We can increase the traffic to Nova Scotia and ultimately help all our tourist businesses succeed and grow in 2025. So yeah,
John, could you do me a favor? Could you drop into the chat, and we could also forward this off in an email as well, but could you drop into the chat uh, the landing page for Lobster Lodging so folks can go and play around and have some fun with it?
sure, absolutely.
You folks will notice we do have the text chat is set up on Lobster Lodgings as well. You can feel free to play with that. Um, we just thought watching a text window was going to be a little bit boring, and we wanted to do something a little bit more interactive. But it is there, it is functional, and it's ready for you to play around with.
Yeah, the chat sometimes is a little bit slower. So if you want to try something out, the voice is definitely the best option for a quicker response and getting through it. So
Yeah,
just take note of that.
that's really great. My friends, thank you so much for joining us today. We did it. We made it the whole way to 11 without an indictment. That was a lot of fun. Thank you all so, so much.
Yes, thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John and Colin. This was a wonderful webinar. It's so awesome to see everything that AI can do. Now it's crazy to think how all of this seemed quite impossible just even 1 year ago. So amazing. And thank you once again for your sharing your knowledge and time with us today. If you joined this webinar, please join us for the next webinar on maximizing engagement with social media contests and giveaways, which will be presented by Ingrid Dion from WordCraft. There are so many rules and guidelines involved with running a giveaway on social media, but when it's done correctly, a contest can significantly improve awareness for your tourism operation and increase brand loyalty. So this workshop will teach you how to run contests smoothly, avoid scammers, reach the right audience, and gain extra value like free market research from your social media giveaways. The workshop will be held on January 9th at 10 a.m. Registration is currently open on Digiport. And you can also recheck this webinar or any of our other webinars that we have hosted in the past on our website, which is tourismns.ca/webinar-series. Again, all of this information will be provided in a follow-up email. Also, we do have a couple of programs currently open that we highly encourage you to apply for if you do qualify. First one is Digital Content Marketing Program. Applications are open until Wednesday, December 18th, 2024, 4 p.m. AST. Important to keep in mind the 4 p.m., not 12 a.m. Export Travel Trade 24-25 Stream 2 Marketplace support applications are also open until the program has been fully subscribed or it closes on March 31st, 2025. And last but not the least, please do stay connected with us. There's a lot of different ways. You could connect with us through email, tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca. Our corporate website is tourismns.ca. Consumer website is novascotia.com. TNS news and resources can be found on tourismns.ca/news-resources. Our corporate Twitter is twitter.com/tourismns, and our corporate LinkedIn is linkedin.com/company/tourism Nova Scotia /. Thank you so much once again for joining us today. And thanks again, John and Colin, and hope to see everyone at the next webinar. Bye.
Have fun with Ingrid. She is an absolute genius. You all are so lucky.
Yeah, she's awesome. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, you all. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week, what's left of it.
Yes. Okay. See ya.
Thank you.